We're joined tonight by Payton Englert, the newly elected MSA Vice President. Payton, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
So to begin, now that you've been elected, how is the transition going?
The transition is going great. We're really eager to fill our cabinet. That's kind of one of our first priorities here. So transition's going good, just learning the ropes, and I'm really excited to get our executive cabinet filled.
So what do you hope to accomplish within these first 30 days?
So within the first 30 days, kind of at the forefront of our priorities right now is filling this cabinet. We have a few new positions on the cabinet this year, so we're really excited to fill our Chief of Staff application, which is due tomorrow actually, and then the remainder of our applications are due March 20th at 5 o'clock. So really wanting to get the best cabinet possible, and we're confident we can do that with the right outreach.
So to address the events of last Wednesday, your campaign was initially expelled after the BEC ruled that there was an obstruction of a free and fair election process. The BEC Vice Chair Joe Sell said your running mate Nathan allegedly filled out another student's ballot. And then there were some students alleging that the election wasn't fair. What would you like to say to students who think this?
Yeah, so, you know, I'd be lying if I said those 3 weeks weren't, and it specifically that night wasn't an exhausting experience. But I know who Nathan and I are as people, and I know what happened during the election, and we're very thankful that the court recognized that and that was overturned.
So supporters of your campaign was there that night
Yeah.
at the MSA Open Senate, and there was a lot of concerns about kind of the integrity as MSA as a whole, especially in terms of the election process. How do you plan to reform it and to kind of win over that good faith again?
Right. So one of the main principles of our campaign was bringing more voices to the table, and I think our showing at Senate that night really emulated that. We're going to continue to bring those voices to the table, not from one corner of campus, but from all corners of campus. That's something that we're really passionate about, and that's something that we've already begun doing, and we're going to continue to do throughout our candidacy.
So yes, that night some opponents of your campaign were there, specifically one went up and claimed and kind of took a turn on your slogan, Tigers Together, and said it was Snow Tigers Together, about like the perceived notion of your campaign's racial inclusivity. What would you like to say to students who share those kind of views?
I think it's clear to a lot of students that did go up there that we have reached out to, you know, we made it a priority to reach out to every corner of campus. And we will continue to do that. So, you know, if students are still feeling like their voices aren't heard, that's just going to make us work even harder to ensure that they feel that they are.
So how do you plan on reaching out to those students that you haven't already?
Yeah, so one of our main platform points was actually about cultivating long-lasting relationships. And I think that's one of the main problems that we've seen within MSA is that people will see MSA officials for 1 week during campaign season, and then they won't see them again for the remainder of their term. So in order to, you know, make these students feel like they are heard and that we want to hear their voices, we need to continue to nurture those relationships, because that's what's really going to make progress and real change on the campus.
So last week after your victory, the website called the College Fix published an article, the headline reading that Nathan's victory was a sign of sexism as a male MSA president winning over Tori Schaefer. What would you like to say to the critics who think this?
I guess I'd start by saying Nathan is not sexist. We had a discussion about who suits which role best, and we found that given my budget experience and given my skills as a person, that I best suit that role. So it's a shame that people are saying that. It's not true, and I'm really looking forward to the amazing things that he'll do as president.
So one of the other things that was on the ballot last week was the enhanced MSA fee, which is now passed.
Yes.
So how will you see that kind of rolled out in the coming months?
Yeah, super exciting. Serving on the Academic Affairs Committee for the past few years, I've seen the struggle that the library has had. I've been in conversations with people who are just really torn up about the kind of status of the library. So for enhanced MSA to pass is just absolutely huge, and I couldn't be happier.
So with your campaign now, with you and Nathan now in office, how would you like students to gauge your success as a whole?
Yeah, so we'll be inaugurated officially probably mid-April, I would say. So gauging our success, I guess, those students who stood up in Senate and felt like their voices weren't heard, I would hope that, you know, not even by the end of our term, way sooner than that, that those opinions are turned around.
All right, well, Payton, thank you so much for joining me tonight.
Thank you.
And Payton will also be a guest on this month's episode of MU Tonight with Lily Fitzgibbon. It's live in the Shack Friday, March 17th at 8 p.m., and it's absolutely free. So we hope to see you there.
If you liked the video you just watched and you want to see more like it, go to mutv.missouri.edu for full-length shows and similar content.